All right, welcome to Yin Yoga, and let's get a nice big deep winter stretch from my friends in North America and Japan. And in Australia, we'll just try and stay cool. So let's come into Vajrasana to start with. So Vajrasana is called Thunderbolt pose. I like to sit on a block or two, keeping the hips symmetrical. And this begins the stretch from the bottom of the feet up through the shins, over the kneecaps into the quadriceps. The degree to which you sit up is inversely proportional to the degree of the stretch. So if you're very tight in this area, you want to sit tall. You want to have a couple of blocks. And if your knee is just not cooperating, you can come into campfire pose where you're just allowing the knees a little relief. Grab your hips for a moment and start to wiggle. You might find you arch the low back by pushing the pelvis forward, or you round the low back, dropping the chin and feeling a stretch in the low back. You might wiggle from side to side and just get the sit bones evenly weighted. You might even try a little circle. So you start to fine-tune the sitting position. And then exhale, slide the hands down the thighs, bring your head forward, resting into your hands, and drop the head. Drop the head. And feel the weight of the head traction out the back of the neck. Gently turn the head to the left, and then the right. A few more times left and right. And then if you can, come down onto your elbows, rest your head on stacked fists, and feel that low back stretch out. So it's like a variation of child's pose. Walk the hands back. Let the torso come upright. And if you have a strap handy, grab a strap. Bring the strap over the head, left hand, hold with the left hand, do a little ice fishing down the spine, and the right hand comes behind. And connecting the hands through the strap or hand to hand, depending on your range of motion here. Don't overdo it, keep the head back, make sure you're in the non-grimace zone. And then gently turn to the right. Push the back of the head into your hands so you keep that chin from dropping or drooping. Slow the breath down. Deepen the breath. and slowly release the strap. Come back to neutral, and this time take the half bind, right hand behind the back, left hand crosses the midline of the body, and twist once again to that right side. Slowly turn the head to the left, to the opposite direction. And then swiveling the head from side to side at the speed of your breath. So you inhale the head to neutral, chin over chest, and then exhale, turning as far as you can comfortably to the right. Inhale, neutral, exhale, left. Inhale to neutral, slowly release the twist. Come back to neutral. Switch hands, so the right hand dangles the strap behind you. And left hand joins strap or hand. Keep the chin off the chest. And turn to that left side. Deep, slow breath. Giving the neck and shoulders time to decompress. Exhale, release the twist. And this time as you cross the right hand in front, left hand behind, twisting to the left and swiveling the head right and left at the speed of your breath. Release gently, come back to center, and this time coming off your block, come onto all fours. Extend the right leg back and drop the ball of the foot onto the mat and push through the heel bone, stretching out that leg. Drop the chin to the chest here, traction out the back of the neck. Turn the head to the left, and then the right. Switch legs. Left leg back,
push through the heel bone. Continue to rotate the head left and right. And bringing that left knee back, this time lift the left hand into the air and thread it underneath you until you touch the back of the hand and the shoulder to the ground. And repeat. Let the head follow the hand, so the head continues to move with the movement of the arm. Now the next time you thread, see if it's possible to lean into that left shoulder. So you feel the shoulder blade starting to slowly stretch away from the spine. Now your right hand is balancing you here. Push into the right hand so you lean into the left side more and the right leg can straighten. Make sure that's okay for your shoulder and neck. If that's too much, adjust until there's more of a comfortable feeling. Don't overdo this. And some of you might lift that right leg into the air just for fun. If you've lifted the right leg into the air, rotate the ankle joint. Now carefully bring that knee back down. Come back to tabletop. Lift the head up, look up, and then look down in between the knees and round the back. Tuck the tailbone. Just working the spine in extension and flexion here. And then pause. Let's try the other shoulder and neck. Bringing that right hand up to the air. Thread the needle. And just go back and forth a few times, getting adjusted to this side. That's it. The next time you thread the needle, pause. Use your left hand as your balance. And straighten the left leg. So your weight is fundamentally on that right shoulder, the right side of the head, and the right knee. You can lift the left leg if you want to and rotate the ankle joint. Make sure you stay stable here. It's a balanced pose. There's a lot of proprioception receptors firing here, so keep adjusting. Use your core to stabilize you. That's it. And then when you're ready, bring that leg back to earth, knee back to earth, and come into child pose for a moment. Keep the knees wide.
And then come onto your sit bones and grab a towel or a blanket to sit on. Roll it up nice and thick so that you can sit on the edge of the towel or the blanket. Have a strap handy. And extend the right leg out to the right so that it's off the mat at an angle and the left foot is towards the center of the mat. If your hamstrings are very tight, you might prop up the back of the knee with a cushion. Take the left hand and sweep it across the midline of the body so the left hand points to the right side of the body. And you're going to lock your elbows here. So right elbow locks and squeezes that left arm in. Imagine your head is the head of a tortoise coming out of its shell. So drop the shoulders down, feel the neck lengthen, and turn the head to the left. Bring the head to neutral. Now, keeping the elbows locked, start to bring the hands towards each other. Now, if they don't reach each other, take the strap into that left hand and grab the strap and work your right hand up towards that left hand. Feeling a connection of squeeze, where the more you squeeze, the more you feel those shoulder blades come apart. Good. Now carefully here, start to lean forward, bringing your forehead towards your hands. Feeling that whole back, upper back, mid back, low back starting to release. Slowly come up and gently release the hands. Turning the head to the right and then the left. Right and left. Switch legs. And as you drive out that left leg, drive out through the heel bone, toes curled back. So you really get this stretch in the back of the leg, as well as the hip opening. And I probably don't need to remind this group, but that lengthening of the back of the leg is going to take pressure off the low back. Take the right hand in front of you, sweep it to the right, to the left, and then lock your elbows and just hug. Squeeze and hug. And drop your shoulders down and the head and neck lengthen like the tortoise coming out of the shell. And then turn the head to the right. gentle, slow, deep breaths here. So much tension in those shoulders and the neck, all the way back up into the skull. Ah, so good to release it. Inhale ahead to neutral, keeping the elbows locked. Let's endeavor to bring the hands together, with or without a strap. Keep driving out through that left leg. Keep that left hip opening. That's it. You can work that hand up towards the other hand. And by leaning forward here, we start to release the back, head towards hands. Feel that release all through the back body. It's also going to open the hip more. Slow, deep, gentle breath. And slowly come up. And release. And we're going to come down onto the belly. Now take your time. When you come down onto the belly, the spine is going to go into extension, so after all that forward flexion it might feel a little tender. And for now, rest your forehead on stacked hands and point the toes outwards into crocodile pose. Slow, deep, gentle breath.
Start to lift the head and prop the elbows under the shoulders. Make sure the elbows are close enough so the hands can reach the upper arms. And then drop the hands down into Sphinx pose. Draw the shoulders back, let the turtleneck come out. And take your nose and start to spiral the tip of the nose. So the spiral starts with small circles, gradually growing bigger, getting the full range of the neck, turning. Just notice how the neck is feeling. Come back to center and then spiral the other way. So start with a small circle. You might hear a little snap, crackle, pop. And as you do, keep the circle nice and smooth. Slow it down if you need to. Come to stillness and bring the right knee out to the right at 90 degrees into your traditional half frog pose. And if it's possible, turn your head towards that knee and come widen the elbows. So working both the hip here and the neck. If that's too much for the neck, rest the forehead on stacked hands. Now this is sometimes called crime scene pose. So imagine you're that relaxed. You keep sinking into the mat. You keep letting go of the tension that's resisting the inherent call from gravity to relax you. Especially around the neck and shoulders. Now carefully here, take the left hand behind you and drape it over the low back. You'll feel this perhaps in that left shoulder, the anterior deltoid. Once again, if anything's too much, just come back and start again. And then take the other hand around to join. You can hold the wrist here or fold the arms, whatever feels good. Play around. Start to walk your right knee a little further out and see if that opens the hip a bit more. It's just a small adjustment, but it makes a big difference. Let the breath be smooth, gentle, deep and slow. And carefully release the hands and stack the hands. Rest the forehead on stacked hands. Roll the forehead across the stacked hands from temple to temple to release the neck. And bring the right knee back to the left knee. Once again into crocodile pose. And then once again come up into Sphinx pose, elbows and hands on the floor. Spiral the nose. Spiral the other way. Then come to stillness, roll your weight onto the left hip and turn the head to the right. It's just a small roll. You're still in Sphinx pose, but you're asymmetrically weighted. And then roll to the right hip and turn the head to the left. Left hip, turn right. Right hip, turn left. Then bring the left knee out. And turning the head towards the left knee. Coming into half frog on the other hip. Float the right hand onto the low back and relax the right shoulder. Then bring the left hand onto the back and join hands or keep the arms folded. Gentle breathing. Slow breath. And that sets the conditions for a deep breath. Continue the breath, smooth, deep, relaxed. Release the hands and stack the hands. Rest the forehead on stacked hands. And roll from temple to temple. Bringing that left knee back, come into crocodile. Then carefully prop your elbows underneath. Let's do a little bit more head rolling here with the nose spiraling outwards. Hopefully that neck is starting to release now. Other way. And very carefully make your way up onto all fours. Watch the low back here. And create a hip circle. So your hips just circling in one direction. Giving that low back time to release after all that back bending. Circle the other direction. Widen the knees, bring the feet together and slowly sink back, melt back into your child pose. Feel that low back release. Enjoy the letting go on that low back. Now, so you either stay in child pose or bring the forehead to the mat and grab your heel bones. You can tuck your chin here and start to lift the head off the ground, feeling that low back stretch. Release the heels, come up onto your hands and onto your sit bones. And once again, you can grab your towel or blanket to sit on. And if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster or blocks for the head. So we come into Baddha Konasana. So sitting on the edge of your towel or blanket so the pelvis is tilted forward. Bring the soles of the feet together. If that's too much on the hips, you can prop them up with blocks, the legs. Or you can use the blocks to rest the head on. Or if you don't have blocks, you've got a bolster there, you can rest your head on the bolster.
Over time you can lower the head. Now slowly come up, keeping your feet together if you can, and if the hips are starting to ache, just prop them up with blocks. And then take your right hand behind the back, and the left hand is going to grab the wrist. And you'll notice I've got a little chicken wing there on that left side. So one elbow is sticking out and pulling that other shoulder closer in. That's it. Now drop the left shoulder down so you don't hunch it up. And then slowly lower your ear towards that chicken wing. Keep leaning towards that chicken wing as you drop your chin towards the chest. Keep leaning the ear towards the chicken wing as you lift the chin up and start to look up. Good. And then slowly nod the head up and down, leaning to the left, 3 or 4 times. Slowly. And then release the arms. Bring the head back to neutral. And then take the left hand behind the back. Right hand's going to pull against that wrist, creating a chicken wing on the right side. Let the head lean towards that right shoulder. Really feel the traction in the left side of the neck here. Good. Slow, deep breath. Let the chin drop down towards the chest. Lift the chin up. And then 2 or 3 nods of the head, 3 or 4 nods of the head, really releasing that neck. When you've completed the nods, you can release the hands and let the head come back to neutral. Let the palms rest in the lap or on the thighs, facing upwards, shoulders back and down. Noticing your posture. If your hips need a little rest here from all the opening, you can come into the more traditional wide seated pose or Vajrasana, or you can remain in the Baddha Konasana position. Soles of the feet together. Scan all around the back of the neck. Just bring your attention to the back of the neck. Feel how it curves, that natural curvature of the back of the neck. And feel how between the shoulder blades bellows out as the spine curves its way downwards to the tailbone. Feel the dips and valleys of the spine. Feel the hips open. And as you feel the hips open, sit up nice and tall. Beautiful. You gently bring the hands together at the chest. Let the head bow in gratitude for our practice today and for each other's company. Namaste.